Thank you. Nice to meet you.
We can go in and take a look at that. And then we can email in a digital copy of that with all the pictures to support what we saw. I need to take care of Mike. That's the home inspection. They want to they don't want nothing.
Great. I mean, now it's spring, so I thought out back. I was thinking he's quite a chair.
But that's what it always comes down to. We're looking at every area of the house as something. So if there's an evidence of back we're looking at every spot in the house. Where they setting it, that's where they found it. That's where they if you come home there, and there's no power there, and you need to go to the or it's not going to work. So you park the cars in the front door, the back door. So the animals are going to be
Guys, there you go. You're not getting yelled at.
wow.
There's no yelling.
Chris normally introduces me to introduce speakers, but I guess not this time.
This is Amanda.
This is Amanda who owns M.A.N.G. This is her home. If you want to become a spotlight speaker, you talk to her.
Yeah. So I'm doing this off of memory from our conversation yesterday because I don't have my notes. But fortunately, Chris is easy because I've known him for.
Don't spread that around.
We have been married how many times?
Everybody knows.
He thinks it's a secret.
Anyway.
I did say a word.
Chris and I have known each other, I don't know, 3-ish, 4-ish years now. I've been with him when, actually, Bill, I believe, made the connection to Chris when I was looking for a coach because I had joined the chamber and then I needed a coach and then he introduced me to Chris. So thank you. It's all Bill's fault.
Thank you.
Bill was actually my original chamber ambassador. So anywho, I digress. So Chris is a lot of things. He's a business coach, he's a sales trainer, he's an entrepreneur, he's a multi-entrepreneur. He's actually had 6 or 7 companies in his lifetime. His first company was selling artwork when he was 8 years old to his family's friends. So he is artistic, he's musical, he loves not only going to shows and watching bands, but also managing bands. So that's another thing he does. He does videography for bands, as you can see. And one of the things that I love to espouse to people is he's a super connector. So the reason kind of why we're all together is because he connected me to Bill. Bill has great connections, and then we put a call to action and everyone kind of showed up when we relaunched M.A.N.G. So I have been with Chris now for 3 or 4 years, 2 businesses, and everything he does on the sales training and the coaching side is phenomenal. So I know you're going to be talking about On the Bus, so welcome.
Thank you.
Hi.
So part of what was missed is generally what we do is you tell a little something about yourself that nobody knows.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I'm going to tell you. Yes.
What color are your socks?
Doesn't matter. They are.
Pink? I didn't even know.
Alright, so little something about me that most people don't know is, you know the Peter, Paul, and Mary song, Puff the Magic Dragon? And you know the chorus where there's kids singing in the background? That would be me. That was recorded at my nursery school because Mary's daughter or something was in our class and the acoustics of the room were right, so I don't know, I always forget to mention that, but it came up yesterday when we were doing this, and I'm glad you're all here. This was originally M.A.N.G, Fairfield Area Networking Group, and then we moved it here and it became M.A.N.G, Morris Area Networking Group, and with Amanda's help, we've grown dramatically, so thank you for that, and thank you all for being here. I'm going to try to do this in 10 minutes, and I can see we're already starting late, so I may talk fast, and I apologize ahead of time. But, so just a brief history that I started working in sales. I grew up on Wall Street, and it wasn't a great fit for me. I'm a dyslexic kid. I was sent away to boarding school when I was 10, and college didn't click real well because I'd already been away for 10 years, and then was working on Wall Street, and had my Series 7 when I was 20, and the market crashed when I was like 23, 24, and it was just time to move on, and I became a sales guy. And the problem with selling for me was I would always sell more than companies could make. So they would want hundreds and I would sell thousands. And that sounds great on paper, but it's frustrating when you're the sales guy because it's your commissions that aren't being fulfilled. And then companies would make up stuff and lie and rush orders and there was mistakes and it just really wasn't a great fit for me. And salespeople and production don't always play well together, as I've learned as a coach, which is a pretty consistent theme with most companies. So I started inventing. And I had a dozen different patented products, a bunch of trademarks and websites, and just a lot of IP. And I joined an organization called the Alternative Board, which was a group just starting. It was in Morris County. It was 20 years ago. It was the first franchise of TAB, the Alternative Board, where I could go and meet with other owners once a month. And what we do, and today I own the franchise, and what we do is we put up to 8 owners on a board with a facilitator where the owners come and share challenges and opportunities, and they get held accountable by their board members. And it works out really well. I've seen tremendous growth of these owners. Anybody here who's in TAB can attest to it. Do we have TAB members here? I know there's a few. We've got Amanda, we've got Lowe's. Barbara, you've been in TAB. Bill, you've been around us, but never in us. Dan Keller, who's clearly not paying attention over there, is in TAB.
No, I'm actually looking up your Puff the Magic Dragon.
Well, yeah, because that's important.
Well, it kind of explains why you're such a hippie now.
Socks, hippie, right. So TAB worked out great for me, and when I bought the franchise, I saw a need for sales training. And so we started coaching and training sales about 9 years ago. And we had a sales training company in TAB. 35 of our owners sold their businesses. They were one of the sales. And then I could go public with it because I didn't want to compete with a client of ours. And so we've been doing on-the-bus sales training for the last 3 years. And it's interesting, it's fascinating, it works. I don't know who wouldn't join. I don't know who doesn't need sales training. We all can do better. And ours is a little out of the box in the way we think, as many will attest to. So what we offer are weekly classes. So the first Friday of the month we have a lunch and learn, where there's a topic that the TAB members and on-the-bus members will enjoy. We supply the room, the lunch, the speaker. You come, you network, and you learn something. And the topics are great. Our next one is on getting more out of your email marketing. And so that'll be interesting. Louder, I'm told. Okay, thank you. The second Tuesday of the month is sales training, where we have 30 classes that we go through. Our last class was on asking for referrals. How many here are great at asking for referrals? How many here kind of went out and say that our company has grown by referrals? It's not asking. Right? How many of you have said, do you know somebody else who might enjoy our service? Right? It's easy. and it's the way to grow. So we had a class on that where we teach people how to do it, and now they'll come back in 2 weeks and let us know how they did. Our next class is selling with questions versus answers, which I believe is key. I think we want our clients, our prospects, to close themselves. We don't want to be selling, we want them buying. And the way to do that is sell with questions. You know, have you tried this? Did it work for you? Have you given up? Those kinds of questions. I'll get into that more in a second. I don't even know why I have this. I'm no longer on script. The third Tuesday of the month, we have a discussion meeting where one of our members will come and we all bring our lunch. David, you were there the other day. It's always fun. And they'll tell their story in a general way, what life and business was like before Tab and on the bus, what changes they made, what life and business is like today, and then they pick a topic. It can be a topic they're an expert on, or it can be a topic they want help with. And then we discuss it. We go around the room. It takes about an hour. It's also nice to get out of your office, connect with your fellow entrepreneurs, and be in your safe place. Our communities are a safe place. It's a place where you can let your guard down. It's not networking, it's the opposite of this. You know, here we all have our game faces on and we are who we are. Where I am, it's behind enemy lines. It's where you get to kind of just, I'm in my safe place. I'm in my comfortable place. No one here is judging me. They're all here to help me, right? So those of you that are members can attest to that. We do some unique things. The fourth Tuesday of the month is another sales training. So there's 2 sales trainings of the month. Some of the topics we go over are here. We do some unique things. When somebody in our group says things like, you know, trade shows suck, I'll say trade shows don't suck. Maybe you're just not great at doing it. And we'll have a trade show. And we're about to have our third. I'm going to show you our last trade show just for a quick second. Let's watch the video. On the bus, and we work with people that sell and teach them to sell better. And this is an example of what we do. We had a meeting recently and somebody was having a hard time getting more out of trade shows, so we put together a trade show. So these are some of our clients, and we made a trade show. And we've had constant traffic all day. Chris Slipper on the bus. Hopefully I'll stop. Kill that just so the video doesn't come on. I film bands at night, and sometimes the band videos will come on afterwards. So that trade show, that was our second. Our first one we had about 200-300 people. Our second one we had about 200-300 people. We're doing our next one on June 7th. For our members get discounts, so it's half price to our members. It's $250. It comes with 2 classes. Our office is at 181 New Road in Parsippany, which is Ron Sousa's place, and we've kind of taken over where we're creating community there. And we're building community. We're going to have the trade show there. So a booth will now be an office for the day. And we're expecting 200-300 people there. And it's going to be unique. It's going to be fun. You set up your office the night before, put stuff on the windows, hang your signs, do whatever you want, and the traffic's going to flow. So it's $500 for non-members. It includes 3 classes. Right? So you get 2 classes prior and 1 after. You can ask the people that attended, Lois, how did you do at the trade show last time?
Awesome.
How do you normally do at trade shows?
Not so awesome.
How many clients did you get?
I got 2 new clients and a handful of leads.
And how many clients do you normally get at a trade show?
None, just usually leads that
Okay.
lead to nowhere.
David, quick, how'd you do? I know you had traffic.
Yeah, I made a lot of good connections. One actually has helped us to solidify some relationships
Okay.
that make potentially maybe fruitful in the future.
All right. Amanda, you were busy all day. How'd you do?
I'm glad I had a second person with me.
Right. And you knew that because you went through the training.
Yes.
Right. So it just works. How many of you go to trade shows? Oh, Connie, were you there? No, you.
I was one of her too.
Oh, okay. I know I saw you there. But I mean, how many of you have gone to shows and you get nothing? And how many of you are sitting behind the table in a chair and expecting people to come over to you? I took all the chairs out of the trade show. Right? I want you in front of your booths. So we teach you how to do that stuff, and it just works. So if you know somebody who manages salespeople, if you know somebody who sells, So people that sell is who we want, not salespeople per se. That's a good referral for me. It just needs a little help, a little confidence. It just works. I can't explain it any differently. So I asked you all what was the mistake that entrepreneurs make when they set up an appointment, right? Anybody know what it was? Well, you've been through it. You guys
Well, I
know.
figure we should know what it is.
So what entrepreneurs do is we're so quick to make the appointment, right? We know the location, we know the time, and we know the place. What we don't know is how long the meeting is. We never establish that. Anybody start a 10:30 meeting and somebody says they have a hard stop at 11? Kind of sets you up for a big fail, right? Because now what do? We teach people how to do a 60-minute meeting. This is our bus, and it's 60 seats simulating a 60-minute meeting. And you can see there's only about 10 minutes of chit-chat. How many kids do you have? Where do you live? That kind of stuff. Then we get into some questions, and they get harder as they go along. You know, what did you do before? Where'd you go to school? How'd you get into this business? What's your biggest challenge in this business? What have you tried to do to fix it? Have you given up? What's it costing you? Those kinds of things. We're leaving them with our questions. Right? Then we recap. We find out the priority it is, how important it is to them. We confirm it all so they hear it again. We find out their budget, if they have a budget for this kind of thing. We ask them how they go about making a decision to joining something like what you do. We tell them our onboarding process, and then ask them how they'd like to proceed. That's our system. It's nice to have a system, so you know where you are. But it's not aggressive selling. It's honest, it's straightforward, and it works. So again, a good referral from me are people that sell or people that manage salespeople, and don't get left behind and get on the bus. That's all I got. Thanks. Any questions?
So you're still doing, so TAB is still an ongoing,
Yeah, thanks. We have 2 seats left. I've got 1 seat on a couple of boards, and then we're starting a nighttime board, which will be a first. We're going to go from 4 to 9. So yes, there's 2 seats left in TAB.
And, Dad, I just wanted to give a testimonial for Chris. And when I first started, I thought I was doing pretty good. And I was. Now I'm better. And I'm saying that because some of you may say, oh, I'm doing pretty good. I don't need this. And good is like what kills you from being great.
Yep.
So.
Good is the enemy of great, that's right. I got a voicemail from Connie one day saying, I couldn't text you, I wanted you to hear the emotion in my voice, that I did what you said and it worked. I love those kinds of voices.
Can I just ask Connie, what is it that you do differently because of your experience, Chris?
Well, one is asking for the referral, because I thought I was asking for the referral by saying, these are services we have, and I'm assuming, I'm telling you about my great service. If you know someone, you're going to give, no. So I actually ask for the referral. I say, do you know someone that could use my services?
Okay.
So I ask for the service, and I ask for the referral, and I do that every time. Even if I feel uncomfortable, I still do it, because sometimes you will. The other thing is my 30-second.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think my 30-second has gotten a lot better. I thought it was good, but now it feels really, really good. And so that's something. And the other thing is setting behavioral goals. I used to set a goal on my expectation, but not a goal on how I was going to reach that expectation. So now myself and my group, we know these are certain things we're going to do. And in tracking that, if we do that, it'll reach the ultimate goal that we want. So I'm not going to tell you anything else, you got to pay for it.
Yeah, thank you. And speaking of which, so the way you join is you PayPal me, chris@onthebus.biz. It's $500 a month. We get the first month and last month up front. And there's no contract, there's no long-term commitment. If you don't like it, you don't stay. It's okay. But I'd like you to give it at least 3 months. Give us a chance to change your lives. And it just
Can
works.
I say one more thing, just want to say, is that you have to be open to change. And you have to be willing to hear things you may not want to hear. And you have to take it and do something about it. Because if you join and someone tells you that something sucks, and you just wanna argue that it doesn't suck, and you wanna keep on doing it, then keep your money. I'm not saying, you know, but I'm just being honest.
You're right.
So you have to be open to hear when someone says, that's not working, Connie. And you go, okay, how can we make it work?
It hurts sometimes.
Yeah, it hurts sometimes.
Lois has cried.
Anytime.
I have to.
You know,
Too many
sorry.
times.
but we're better for it.
Yeah.
And how great was David Quick's 40-second intro today?
Yeah.
Right, knocked it out of the park. You noticed his hands, you noticed, everything was terrific. That was your best one ever. So good for you.
All comes from you.
And Vernon, he's one of ours. So I'm not taking all the credit, he's got the guts and the, I didn't teach him to sing, but he's terrific. All right, any other questions? Yep.
Do you charge, like, we personally, for us, we have 2 people who I would want to attend. Do you charge per
Percy,
seat? Okay.
that's it? All right, very good. Thank you very much. Now we move on to testimonials, thank yous. Yep,
I just wonder if I can go first, because I have to do a tour.
sure.
Okay, I want to thank Bill. He sent me a referral, so that was awesome. So thank you very much. And David. David sent me a referral, so thank you very much. And I have to run do a tour. So
Thank
sorry.
you, good luck. Are you shaking? All right, I did it. Yep.
I'd just like to give a shout out to Teresa because I've been enjoying her delicious food for like 27 years. So.
Nice.
Thanks, Linda.
Barbara?
I'd like to thank David Quick for his business. Thank you very much.
Amanda?
I want to thank Nicole for being an awesome attorney and making my life simpler and less emotional.
Yeah, I want to
Go
thank
ahead.
Nicole as well for a great referral last week. Thank you very much. Anything else? Yeah.
Yeah, Lauren, thank you for adequately protecting me and also annoying me to get my systems and processes in place, so thank you. Who else? There's probably, Laura, thank you for being our first tenant here, I appreciate that. And Teresa, I worked with back in the day before I started my businesses, so thank you for being my interim boss and also friend. So thank you.
Yep.
2 people. Lois, okay, I am working not with her directly, with some of her instructors, and I mean this in a great way. They are reminding me how out of shape I am. I'm so sore, in a good way though.
Right.
Okay, in a good, based on what I asked for, and that's what I love, is that Lois listens. So you talk about from a sales standpoint, a lot of people talk, but don't listen. Lois is using her ears. I don't know if that's from Chris's sales job, or if you just always was like that, but awesome from that standpoint. And there was, I was going around the room. She and I are working together in the summer for a Jamboree program at her location. I'm also trying to do other stuff, so I love it, so thank you.
Terrific.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Lois, you had your hand up?
Yeah, I wanted to bring it back to Jerry and say thank you for your trust and your honesty. And we can all, and I suggest this to everybody, is that you can only get better when you ask for the feedback that you don't want to hear. Because really, it hurts sometimes to hear to hear constructive feedback, but that's why I love Chris, and that's why I hired Chris in the first place, because he does make me cry. But and I tell you that, and just like Jerry said, like, it puts me out of my comfort zone, and it hurts to say things that suck, like Connie said. So I really appreciate the honest feedback. And when you ask your clients, and I set it up now, as Chris would say when I first meet a new client, I say, will you be honest with me, and if something's not going right, that you tell me. That way I can fix it, because if I don't know, I can't fix it. So thank you so much for letting me know, so we could fix it and make it better for you. So.
Short version on the make you cry thing,